What is up, everyone? Welcome to this episode of Car Vlog.
Oh yeah, gonna make a video in my car now. Oh yeah, gonna make a video in my car.
All right, so try and keep it short today, but we got a couple topics. First of all, thank you to Retro Tiburon for having me on the podcast. Our top 5 PlayStation 1 games. Such a great time. I always enjoy being on Mario's podcast. It's posted, so I will leave a link to that down below if you want to check it out. It was myself, Retro Tiburon, Tylord, and Omega Ace Gaming. And man, I could talk PlayStation forever. But what I thought was really cool is that we all have this like very eclectic taste in games, right? We all had very different games on our top 5 list. So it was very, very awesome to hear everybody's experience with the console and all the games they like, that kind of thing. So again, thank you, Mario, so much for having me on the live stream. It was fun. They're on the West Coast. I'm in Ohio, so I'm in Eastern time. So it was like 2:30 in the morning by the time we got done, but that's okay, because it's always a blast. Time just flies by. The second thing, I posted in the community tab, looking at August 24th for the live trade show. If you want to participate, that's my birthday, August 24th. I'll be 21. I'll be able to have a beer. It'll be great. God, I'm getting old. 46. Can you believe that? But yeah, so just give me some feedback. I don't know, like, oh, hey, there's one year there's a convention this year. Can we do it the week after or the week before? We can do that. But targeting August 24th, about 8 p.m. my time, Eastern time. And, I usually jump in a little early. People jump in and out of the stream, and we kind of go all night just talking about games, drinking beer, trading games, that kind of thing. And I'm going to put a box together of stuff that I have for trade this weekend. So I will post that on the community tab, and that'll just be some of the stuff and some of the stuff that I'm looking for. So if you have that stuff, you can save it and bring it. Or if you just happen to find it out in the wild and you go, oh, I want to save this for the trade show, whatever. I'll make a video as we get closer to the trade show of all the stuff, but I definitely want to show you guys what I sort of have for trade right now. I can tell you, it's like I got the Demon's Crest. I got Mystical Ninja. Plan on throwing up my Seaman on Dreamcast, complete in box with the microphone. What else do I have in there? An At Games Sega Genesis thing, don't need that anymore. I've got some Game Boy Colors, a Game Boy Advance. I don't know, just some stuff, right? Some stuff, Donkey Kong Country, things like that. Yeah, so looking forward to that, August 24th. We always have a good time, man. Even if you don't trade games, we just kind of hang out, and that's okay. Down Phoenix asked a question actually about that, about how that works. The other videos are posted, but really you're responsible for your own trades. So like if I were trading games with, I don't know, like Retro Bro or something, and because I know Retro Bro, I'm going to send it out and text him a picture of the tracking right away. If he's like, hey, I'm taking the kids on vacation next week, I can't get it out till later, no problem. People that you don't know, you're kind of doing that at your own risk. But I haven't had any problems with that. I think we've had one problem in the history of the trade show, and that was actually between one YouTuber and another YouTuber. But yeah, it's always a good time, man. It's always a good time. Retro Heck's usually there. Woodbury and Retro Game Hunter. I don't know. Just a bunch of people jump in. It's fun. Just a fun little hangout. And it's an opportunity for you to like trade your games for games that you want and not have to pay like eBay fees and all that stuff. Go through the rigmarole of trying to sell something online, or taking it to a GameStop and getting trade raped on it. But yeah, like I said, for the 1,000th time, it's a really good time. We always have fun. We always make some trades. And yeah. Anywho, so I'm seeing a lot of videos. So I started posting like a couple years ago, PlayStation 4 games you need to get before they're gone. And I'm working on a PlayStation 3 video for that this week, and I'll probably have that posted sometime this weekend. But I started to see a lot of games you need to get before you're gone and this and that. And, you know, they're always like, yeah, get this game. It's like $150. Like, nobody's going to go out and buy a $150 game now. Yeah, they've been great to get that 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago when it was $10. But so, you know, my situation is like, I like to show games that are really good games that you should have in your collection, that are still relatively cheap. And even though the games may not increase in value that much over time, as these games start to drizzle off the shelf, they're going to be harder to find. I mean, just sort of the way it is. But, yeah, I was watching a Y2K collector video, and he was talking about Xbox 360. And one of the games that he showed was Akai Katana, which is a shooter. It's really good. It's like Death Smiles. If you ever played Death Smiles, kind of that same art style, like graphics and everything. And, you know, for the longest time, that game was under $20. And now I'm seeing for $150 on eBay. I'm like, are you kidding me? And he had some really great advice. He said, before you get into any of these games, make sure that they're games that you want to have in your collection. Don't, you know, fear of missing out. Go panic buy these games that you don't want in your collection, that you're spending hundreds of dollars on, that you're never going to play, that you don't care about. You just sort of want it for like a status symbol, basically, was what he was trying to say. And I can't agree more. You know, I was, for the last 5 months ago, I was telling you guys about Riding Fighters Aces on the 360. We know how shooters are going to go. There's 3 games on here, Well, that game's starting to get up into the $100 range. After 4 months ago, it was a $40 game. So if you didn't get it then, or it's a game that you're not going to appreciate in your collection now, I wouldn't recommend getting it. You just kind of priced. Most people are priced out. That's why we have things like the trade show. I'll bring an extra copy of Demon's Crest. Most people won't be able to afford a Demon's Crest. You know, they're working on a budget, inflation, all that stuff. You can come to the stream and trade for it. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting take by a Y2K collector that, you know, you see all these videos and you want to rush out and get these games, but they're just so expensive and you don't even really care that you have them. You know what I mean? Like, you just want them to want them. You don't want them to play them, or you enjoy that genre or whatever. But yeah, really good. So he'd like to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment down below. And while we're on the 7th gen, you know, I've been doing some thinking about the 7th gen, and it gets a lot of love. The 7th gen does. The Wii, the 360, and the PS3 specifically. And I think it has the Captain Marvel syndrome. Captain Marvel, when that movie came out, did really, really well. But it was stuck in between the Infinity War movies, you know, the two great movies in the MCU. And I kind of feel that way about the 7th gen. You know, the 6th generation of gaming was awesome. And then the 8th generation of gaming is awesome as well. So I think sometimes the 7th generation gets put on a little bit higher pedestal than it should be. And, you know, I'm going to play Mr. Negative. If you love the 7th generation, leave a comment down below why you absolutely love the 7th generation. So I was going to run through them real quick. A lot of the consoles, terrible disk drives. They're not made very well. You know, red rings of death, blue lights of death, yellow blinky this, all that stuff, disk read errors. I seem to find more consoles from that generation that are broken and need extra love than any of the other generations. You know, cartridge games, you take them apart, you clean them, they typically work. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so bad console. They're just bad consoles structurally. You know, the parts in them are not great. Wonky motion controls. Take it or leave it. While some of the Wii games are good, like Wii Sports Resort, Kinect isn't great. The PS3 Move really isn't that great. So there's an overabundance of like shovelware titles. You know what I mean? Like budget titles. So these libraries are overly inflated and they're massive because of all that sort of padding stuff. You know, those games that nobody wants, nobody cares about. I mean, unless you collect hardcore for those consoles. Now that's a little different. If you just want to collect every PS3 game or every Wii game, that's a little different, right? But when I go to the game store, I'm not looking for Dora the Explorer on the Wii because I don't collect for the Wii. I don't care. And then the last thing is, you know, that was at real first generation where they wanted to move online. Everything was online play, pay for this, do that, DLC. And while at the time that was standard and that's sort of the industry best practice, I guess you could say, it didn't pan out very well, because a lot of these games, I'll throw up Need for Speed The Run, great game, but unfortunately, like, the missions, levels, tracks, cars they're all locked behind these online modes, and you can't play that online anymore. So I really want Need for Speed The Run to have like a remaster with just everything on it, so you can unlock all the supercars and all that stuff. A lot of games in the 7th generation, specifically on the 360 and the PS3, are like that, where you basically just get the base game and you got to go online and play to get all the other stuff, but you can't play that anymore. So it's dead, Need for Speed To Run, though, worth the $10. The story mode is worth $10 for sure. It's fun. So yeah, I mean, a lot of creativity, like a lot of the Toys to Life stuff came around in the 7th generation. And while there is a large following for that, I don't even know if it was large, there's a good sized following for that. This stuff about downloading this and it's too much. So I think that the 7th generation of consoles is definitely overrated. And now we're in a situation where the 7th generation stuff is getting really, really hot. 360 games if you haven't noticed, 360 games are flying through the roof. Even like variants, like Tomb Raider Underworld, right? Well, here's the Tomb Raider Underworld, the Walmart edition, or the Divinity 3 Best Buy edition. These games are all like just flying up in price. It's absolutely insane. And I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts. Hopefully somebody really enjoys 7th gen and they'll leave like a counterpoint to my argument. But as these games are getting higher priced, just be aware that these are some of the trappings, like it requires a move controller or motion controller, requires online play to unlock tracks and characters and whatever that you're never going to be able to unlock. So do you really want it in your collection, So I guess that's the point. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below, and thank you for stopping by Car Vlog.